Today's video is sponsored by Voxy, the pay-as-you-go mobile network that gives you unlimited data for as little as £10 a month. Get a £20 reward by signing up today using the link in the description and stop eating your data while on the move. Voxy has got you covered. With unlimited social media, unlimited video, and what's more, all Voxy plans come with 5G ready, so you can get back to watching your favourite YouTube channel. Link is in the description to sign up now. Hello and welcome back to the Blues Focus podcast with me, Tommy Kelsall, Jamie Lauder, and Zach Woods. Right, guys, how have we been?
Yeah, all good, mate. All good. Quick question: Why's the intro disappeared? What's going on with that?
I'm currently editing it to change it up, but we'll just explain it. Actually, I used to have a MacBook that I used to do everything off of it. So that intro, the original file is still on there, so I can't really do anything edit. I can't really edit it. I have, but it's not been very good. You know, everything that I make was pretty much on that laptop. So when I get it back, or at least get the data off the MacBook, then I will be able to update the intro. But for now, we're probably just gonna have to deal with whatever I do in the meantime. But yeah, that's the reason why we've not got the
There we go.
the famous intro.
I miss it. I miss my ears bleeding in the intro. You're gonna go on about my floorboards, aren't you? And that's why you're laughing at it.
Can we please insert when he started talking about his MacBook, just like some sad,
just go black and white and a really sad music in the background. Yeah. Anyway, in today's podcast, we will be discussing that incredibly eventful game against Stoke and our trip to the northeast to play Sunderland. But beforehand, we will be discussing the recent news that's just come out about the ownership and also it was the ownership. Sorry, I'm trying to get my terminology correct. I think it's very vague, but Zach, you were talking about it, saying it's quite informative. So give us your thoughts to that.
From my point of view, I do think it's as informative as it can be. They obviously, I assume they can't say who's wants to buy this share in the club and all that good stuff, but they have given like specifics in terms of numbers. I think Almagier obviously did a post on it, which is a very good read, very informative as well. So probably that coupled with the Blues announcement, I think we've got at this stage a good amount of information to have a rough idea in terms of what's going on and probably what the next few weeks, few months, few years could potentially look like. But overall, I think it is very positive news. You know, it's not as Almagier said, the fat lady's not singing yet, but she's warming up her vocal cords. Things are moving in the right direction, aren't they? Things are becoming a little bit more positive. I'm not claiming to be an expert. I don't know the full ins and outs of it, but on the surface, from what I've read and what it looks like, it's got to be a positive for the club.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, Jamie, what do you make to the statements?
Listen, it's the most clear communication we've had for a while in terms of takeover and everything like that. So it was nice to read it. It was nice to read some figures, like Zach said. It was nice to see stuff like we are going to own St Andrews again.
Yeah, that is true.
Things like that were massive to read. Like it's ours again. That's our home, and we can say it's our home again as a football club. That's something we've wanted for a long time.
Yeah, and we won't have to worry about us going back to Birmingham City's St Andrews Trillion Trophy Stadium again.
That's the day that happened. The amount of abuse I got in school that day, can I just say, is an absolute joke. It's the fact it's Trillion Trophy that suggests we've won trillions of trophy.
I deactivated all social media for a week. I had to deactivate it. There's been 2 days where I've deactivated social media. That was that day, and Jude Bellingham's shirt retirement day. I got crucified, but I love it now. And I'm going off topic with Jude Bellingham, but I love it now. Whenever he plays an England top, the amount of fuckers that tweet online like, "Yeah, Birmingham fans, we actually apologise because he's really good," and we're like,
That's not what annoys me. I can revel in that. I'm proud of that. To think that people are now like, "Oh yeah, I get it now." What really annoys me about Jude is the fact that everybody thinks, most people think that he's a Liverpool fan. That's the
where's
most
that come
annoying
from?
thing.
Oh God, I cannot stand
Eat a steak with Jordan Henderson once, and you're a Scouser for life. Apparently,
I can't stand that. I have to ignore it. I actually have to. I can't stand it. There was one. Sorry, I know we're digressing. There was this one.
Just go.
It was this Liverpool account, right? And it was on Jude Bellingham's dad's birthday, and Jude posted a picture with his dad. And Jude was wearing the number 7, and this was after Liverpool beat United 7-0. The amount of people that thought that Jude was winding up because he was wearing a number 7 shirt and the 7-0. That annoyed me. And then I saw a comment saying, "Oh, I love Jude," and the fact his dad's wearing a Liverpool shirt as well. It was like a Stourport or Stourbridge Football Club shirt. Mate, I can't. Oh, it's so infuriating. I just can't. But
just
yeah,
fucking idiots, man. Honestly, it does mind.
But yeah, the takeover thing looks really good.
Remember that what we were talking about earlier?
Yeah, it fills with hope. That's all I suppose we can say on the matter is there's actual some hope there.
Yeah.
So like a little bit of a light at an end of a tunnel after 10 years of pure shite. It looks like we're actually starting to see something where next season could be positive. You know, I spoke to a few Blues fans myself, and they said if this goes through, great. Next season could be difficult. It could be a complete resurface and rebuild of the whole team. It could be. You know, we're going to lose some players, we're going to cut some wages, but at the same time, if there is investment coming in, if there's an actual ownership coming in, we could even probably, and I'm jumping gun here, but potentially sign Bielik, potentially get a Sanderson on a permanent. You know, like we could actually bring some signings in now and not have to rely on free agents. And maybe, I'm not saying next 2-3 years we're going to be striving for promotion, but we can definitely start to build a solid foundation to push up the leagues in the next couple of years and get back to where we belong, which is pushing playoffs, pushing promotion, and trying to fight in the Premier League again.
No, you're right. I feel like that's a good step forward, really, for the club, considering where we've been in the last few years. Obviously, it's not great.
Anywhere but 17th and below, for fuck's sake.
If we can do that, if we can do that this season, that's an achievement, I think, in my mind. But yeah, to sign some players next season would be good. I mean, we've had a few seasons now where we've been relying on loan players and free agents. It'd be good to sign some players, but of course, it's also great to bring in some free players and loan players that
of course,
the potential as well. But we do need to rely on actually buying players rather than just relying on loan players. Those are the ones that are backups usually, and that's not a great business to rely on.
And not living on youth sales as well would be a big one. Give George Hall a contract now if this investment comes in. Give Jordan James one. Give Alfie one. You know, give Joe one. There's these young players that, if we're not careful, will get snapped up for stupidly cheap money. If we get a takeover coming in, get some money and get some wages, be honest, why not give them lads some money? Because we can build teams around you, George Halls, your Jobs, your Jordan James, your Alfie Chang. Them 4 midfielders I've named there, 2 to 3 years' time, could be easily starting midfield in most teams in the Championship, I'd say, if developed right.
Yeah, definitely.
We've said it a million times, but we'll say it again. All we want is a bit of stability, and we want to start slowly making a bit of progress. I know this finished 17th and below. Let's see if we can finish 15th this season, then push on the following season, finish mid-table, 12th, 11th, maybe 8th the following season, then push for playoffs. You know, it's very rare does football change overnight. In that, I think Nottingham Forest last season was a very, very rare example of a team being bottom of the league and then all of a sudden being Premier League the following season. Like it takes a while, it takes a long time. But if we can get a bit of investment, I've said this before as well, and I saw a tweet about it the other day. The tweet said something like, "Oh, you're lying if you don't want some unbelievably rich people to come into your club and just invest." But see, do you know what's mad though, Jamie? I don't want that. I wouldn't want that. I don't want us to be a club where we're just peppered with money, and we're buying our way to the top. I'd love just a bit of stability.
It really upset me, to be fair. That I do get it, because like you'd lose all your kind of, people would say your morals are gone, wouldn't they?
I just think it's not our identity. The city of Birmingham, and Birmingham as a club, I picture as, you know, grafters and, you know, working hard to achieve success. I wouldn't want someone to come in and just say, "Here's £100 million, do what you want." Give us a couple of million, 5, 10 million, however much, you know, just to make a few signings a season, invest in our youth system. Let's get some good players coming through the ranks. Let's get some stability. Let's fully open St Andrews. Let's make some slow progress. Let's move up the table and push for that playoff place in 4, 5, 6, 7 years' time. I wouldn't want someone to come in and just throw money like, you know, our next door neighbours, and just buy our way to success, because it's not Birmingham City. It's not how we do things.
I mean, I wouldn't say no.
Points,
But I also 100% agree with you. 1,000,000%. I would also like to probably get to next April, just casually look at the accounts for the year when they come out and go, "Oh, debt, zero. Oh, shit, what? Like, balance? What? Like, what do you mean we're not hemorrhaging money? What's this?"
It'd be great, wouldn't it? It'd be great. I know. So just as we said, a bit of stability to slowly start making progress, and we're laughing, aren't we?
Yeah.
Last thing before we move on, it does mention in the statements in the first line that they've had 2 letters of intent been entered into with a potential purchase. Purchase? How the hell do you purchaser or purchaser? I can't work out how to properly say that.
Either or. We all know what it means.
I know what. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Some geezer trying to buy a club in it.
Yeah. Someone trying to buy something in it.
Someone just trying to buy the club, yeah.
I imagine that is Jeremy Dale, isn't it?
Yeah.
It can't be somebody new at this point, can it?
It'd be very surprising, but it'd be very. I mean, like we said, we're very much not in the know. If it's Bassini, I'm throwing hands. But we're very much not in the know, to be fair. So it's hard for us to say. But with what's been going on around this sort of around this announcement and prior to the announcement, it'd be very surprising if someone had swooped in and done things. So yeah, I'd imagine it is Jeremy Dale.
What would your reaction be if it was Lawrence Bassini?
I know what his reaction would be straight away. I would log on. I'd go onto YouTube and I'd see 4 different videos posted from Blues Focus and Zach. Immediate reaction to Bassini 1, part 2, part 3.
Could you imagine?
It's just an hour long.
Each one's it's just me crying. I've clearly had a few drinks. It's just me.
He's had a few drinks. There's a boxing bag. He's put a boxing bag up in his room and gloves and just smashing it for an hour.
I'm in the gym at like 3 a.m. There's empty beer bottles around me. I'm just crying and venting to the camera.
Yeah, just like sat really aggressively looking at the cameras.
Oh man, yeah. But if it was, I don't know what I'd probably do that. Yeah,
I'd quite like to see that. I'd pay to watch that. Actually, we should do that.
I'd invite him on the podcast.
What,
I'd literally spam him.
Me to drink myself silly and start punching a bag and crying?
Yep, I would.
Fair enough.
Although, to be fair, Jamie's point is probably better, actually. We could invite him on the podcast and just sort of like leave.
Me and Zach would say nothing.
Yeah, he joins and you two just leave. I message me internet problems. You're on your own.
See you later. What do you mean, Jay? You've got 300 megasecond in, but it's gone, lad. I don't know what's happened.
I think the pylon's collapsed behind me.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it would be an interesting one. But no, you are right. It should be Jeremy Dale. Yeah,
it's got to be Dale. It's got to be.
I can't imagine it being anybody we have not yet seen. In the picture.
I mean, this whole Jeremy thing. It's been what's the phrase for it? It's been the best kept secret, but everyone knew about it. Like everyone in the background knew what was going on. All the fans had heard the murmurs, but they hadn't made it public. Like they still haven't really said his name. And I think this was the right way to go about it. It's been hushed, it's been quiet.
Well, we were talking to this about with Cliff, weren't we, from the Blues Trust, who was talking about that. He was saying,
I can't tell you who, but
yeah, it was the Richardson. It was the Richardson one that was the public way of doing it. It was like the big announcements, get all the attention, people will buy into it, and then when he does take over, then obviously, things will go from there. But obviously, because it didn't go through, I think that sort of ruined his image, really, in the fact that he's gone so public about everything. It makes him look like he's messed it up in that way. It could have worked, and it probably should have worked, really, but I think it's much better when you deal with business in a much more confidential way, because you can sort things out. You don't have to have the outrage when it doesn't go right. And when we're getting closer and closer to a proper sale on the club, I mean, the figures that we were talking about, 24% of the shares in Birmingham City PLC by BSHL, and the 21.64% of the shares in Birmingham City PLC by Oriental Rainbow Investments. So we are getting proper numbers now. I don't know how much that exactly totals.
Have they said a figure for the other 55 though? That's what I was trying to figure out earlier.
I think the other 55 still belongs, in my understanding, still belongs to BSHL, or at least ones that
that's what it says here. If I read this out, and this was written by Dan, go read it. But it says there are 2 transactions being done with these letters of intent, which will be performed simultaneously. So the first transaction is between BSH and the purchaser, and will mean BSH will sell 24% of its 75% stake in the club, going down to 51%. The second transaction is between Oriental Rainbow Investments and Achiever Global Group and the purchaser. So it will mean ORI and NAGG will sell both the 21.64% stake in the club and that ORI owns, and 100% of the stadium. So yeah, BSH go down to 51% and then OPL take over ORI's 21% and then 24% from BSHL. But go read the article because I butchered that, but just go read it. It's a good read. But just to touch on a point you mentioned back there, Tommy, I completely agree when you said it's all been very hush-hush and they've done things quietly and it hasn't been public. And not to bring it back to Bassini, but this is why I like, if you listen to that TalkSport interview where he said he was going to win the league, he was going to invest this much, this person was going to go and join him, he was going to buy these players. I know we joke about Bassini, but can you see why? Like, that is just already red flags, like, everywhere. Do you know what I mean?
No, sorry.
Red flags everywhere, innit?
I'm not laughing at you, I promise. I'm laughing at Jamie laughing at you. Because he's sipping out of his can.
I don't want people to think I don't like Bassini, like, for no
That's
reason.
none of my business.
But, like, there are red flags. He wanted to box Simon Jordan, didn't he?
He did.
I mean, come on.
Car crash of an interview, wasn't it?
So, yeah, the way they've approached it this time, it's all been very hush-hush behind closed doors. It's been done correctly, done appropriately, and hopefully Blues can start moving in the right direction.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. You're spot on as well, because, I mean, we refer back to that earlier. It was just like, it was so embarrassing, wasn't it? So I remember, I was talking to this on the podcast I've literally just got off with a Sunderland podcast. I remember where I was and everything when I was listening to it on the radio. It was literally, we were moving our sofa out. We were getting a new sofa at the time, and I remember the living room was just, there was nothing in it. Literally, it was like bare and everything. I remember just standing up and just like leaning against the wall. I just turned around to the wall at one point when he said that I was going to start boxing Simon Jordan. I had my head against the wall like that. Just, I can't believe what this man is saying. That he doesn't even own the club and he's still saying these things. Just like,
he's passionate. He's passionate for this club.
He's had a mental breakdown or something, man. Honestly, that is.
I'd never want it to happen because he's a psychopath. But every time he wants to just see a picture of him at St Andrews holding a blue shirt, just to see Zach's face for 10 seconds of just pure rage.
I had a mental breakdown. I can do it. That for me would be my club, like, properly dying. Like, that's why I'd be so upset, because that'd be like,
Solihull Moors, here we come.
Yeah. Welcome back to Moors Focus.
Yeah, I know.
What did I come up with the other month? Was it Moors Moments or something? Let's go. Moors Memories.
I thought it was it? I think it was a play on words with like more. I can't remember that. It was definitely something more in that way, but yeah.
I lost my head one day in the Blues Focus chat, everyone, and I started throwing out ideas about podcasts. I was done. I can't remember what happened. I can't remember what I said, but I thought I was quite proud of it.
No, it was funny, yeah. We are also skirting around the Stoke game because there's actually bugger all to talk about in that game.
What can we say?
Game I've seen in years.
Job done. It's one of them. Job done, isn't it? 50 points. Got to the 50-point mark. Yeah, was it a boring 0-0? Yeah. Did Ruddy make a fantastic save though? Of course he did.
Yeah, that's one thing we can talk about.
Do the referees and the linos need shooting in our league? Yeah, a little bit, because some of it was appalling. And
fucking hell.
Why did some of them, that lino in the second half who was on Stoke's attack, well, anyone who watches this who sat in the main stand with me and was in line with that lino, can you please write in here and confirm that he was terrible? The man was still trying to catch up play when the ball was out for a goal kick. I was so confused what was going on. And then I've just thrown myself off track. Oh yeah, and then Tahith Chong was the best centre half for Stoke when he blocked George Hall 1-on-1 at the end of the first half.
He did, yeah. I remember that actually.
There wasn't many moments to talk about. As you said, that Tyrese Campbell shot and a beautiful save from Ruddy. We did have that Chong moment and George Hall clashing. I mean, Job had a chance to score at the end, and so did Bielik. Bielik's shot wasn't off the line. It was blocked from going in. So in the dying embers, we had a chance or two. First half, we had that Chong chance, and there was a good Ruddy save. Other than that, there's really not much to talk about. It's just
Hogan looked sharp.
0-0.
Hogan looked a bit sharp off the bench. Might have been against tired defenders, but Hogan looked like he had a bit about him. The most entertaining thing for me in the whole game was when Chong blocked Hall's shot and some pissed bloke about three rows behind just went, "Get a haircut, you prick." That was it. I was gone at half time. I was like, wow.
I love sudden aggressiveness. I think I found it's my weakness in comedy. Like when somebody just like explodes and just like can't handle it.
Because it was just so silent. Funny. Everyone just went, and then it went quiet. The amount of things you can insult him about, don't block the shot, you twat. What you doing? Pass the ball. None of that. None of that at all. Get a haircut, you twat. That was it. Gone. Like everyone in that stand was just like, oh, fuck it.
think that's why Jack makes me laugh, but he's just suddenly aggressive towards players. He just drops the C-bomb every single time. It's like, I remember he went out for a goal kick once, and he just got up out of his chair and just screamed like that word. It's just like,
I can't help it.
No context for it at all. I just did it for no reason.
I did it this season though, didn't I? I screamed. I can't remember which game it was. I know Longella was running down the wing and he didn't cross. I was just like, cross the ball, you twat! And everyone around was like, I was like, oh, sorry. Zach! Right.
Me? No, I've only properly vented at one, I think, incident this season. I think I've talked about it before. Is when we kept taking short corners and actually.
That return, on Monday. I saw one or two of them. I was like, no.
I don't think I've been that angry this season. Usually I really am, but I think I've been okay this season in terms of keeping my anger. Mainly because fuck all's happened all season.
I was gonna say, like, we haven't been fighting for promotion or relegation. No. We've sort of just been.
Although I do remember Djukovic was like literally every single chance he had, every single foul that could have been given
going against him
was the complete opposite way. I can't remember what game that was now. I think it was Swansea at home. And literally,
yes, when we equalised right at the end.
Yeah, he's got his shirt over his head at one point, and the referee points the other way. I get out of my chair, just like, you are actually joking. I was expecting him to go, nah, I'm only joking, and then give it the actual way. It was ridiculous. I think that's probably the only remember.
The worst thing that Duke did this season, bless him, was that red card against Wigan, because it's almost like since that has happened, there is a fucking EFL vendetta against that man. I don't know what he's done, but they are brutal to our Duke.
I got rinsed in the comments section for fucking believing that was a whatever
it looked like.
I remember reading those comments.
I was watching it.
Seething.
I was 99%. I was like, he's gone. What is that? That's a straight red. Then when I watched it the other side, I was like, oh shit.
That's the thing. In your defense, Tommy, everyone around us, including myself, thought that was a red, like Stonewall red card. But
I think it's worse for me though. It's worse for me though because I've edited it in post production and then obviously uploaded it to YouTube, so people must think this guy's a complete moron. But I left it in because that's what happens. You know, everybody around.
Yeah, you want your live reaction. Didn't you put a pinned comment as well or something saying, looking back, it was definitely a red before? Like,
I definitely wouldn't have done that. No way.
Oh no, okay.
I don't do things like that. If people think I'm a moron, I ain't gonna defend myself. Really, to be honest.
Tommy just takes it on the chin. Tommy goes, yeah, you know, I fucked up, and I'm gonna accept it.
Yeah, fair play to you.
There's no point defending it.
I'm not that humble, okay? I definitely do still get pissed off about it. I can't be arsed in arguing about it, though, really, to be honest. They go at me for something that I've technically gotten wrong, really. And I'm not really going to be asked about it, to be in all fairness, really. But yeah, we're still skirting away from Stoke, which is good. Though,
yeah.
So it gives us
what more can you talk about?
I think we move on to Sheffield United because we've literally covered
Sunderland, you moron.
Sunderland.
Sorry.
50 points. Job done.
We might as well go to Sheffield United because the season's already done, isn't it?
But how nice is that, lads? As well. Like I know it's
you're right.
How nice it 5 games ago with no team goes down on 50 points. I don't think it's very, very rare. I'm still picking up another maybe 4 points for the end of the season because he said, didn't he, 53 is the most we've had for a long time, so he wants to try and push over the 53 mark.
Well, there's 5 games left in the season. We're 9 points clear. 2 more wins and we're safe.
Blackpool are pretty much gone, so Blackpool should be 3 fucking points.
Blackpool are on 35. Reading are on 41. There's a big difference between them. I don't know how many more games that Wigan can survive. They're on 34 with.
I think Wigan have gone in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, they're I don't think that they're actually they play each other next game. That's interesting.
Well, Blackpool, Wigan.
Yeah.
God, that is an absolutely gigantic game. That is a massive game.
What a shame.
I know, it's mad. That's just deciding who's going to finish bottom of the championship, isn't it?
Yeah, you're probably not right.
Relegate one team and then the other one still win with a fighting.
The other one has a slight better hope for an extra week.
I think that bottom three's finished now, to be quite honest. I think Reading, now that they've lost Paul Ince, they might still be within a shout. So they might take. I think they're gone though because they've not got the players for it, and I think they might still give it a try. But I think Cardiff are a better side than them. Queen's Park Rangers are a better side. Huddersfield
Cardiff as well. If they go down, it's a fucking shambles with the EFL.
Oh, absolutely.
That Rotherham thing is a piss take.
Yeah,
you're 1-0 up away from home against Rotherham in the 50th minute. Yeah, right. It's water. Have you seen the videos of the groundsman at Rotherham pushing it back on the pitch? Oh, and they had the sprinklers on at half time.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
Oh nah, man! If you're Cardiff and you go down by 2 or 3 points, you are going at. If they replay that and lose,
why can't they just start from? Why can't they just play
it's
45
so
minutes
shit.
at Cardiff 1-0 up?
Yeah, like it's so scummy. Like they've gone. Yeah, you got to play the whole game again. What?
I know it's ridiculous. I'm still kind of. I think
Rotherham
Reading
should score an own goal.
The teams have done that in the past, but there's so much riding on it that they won't. I think sacking Paul Ince was a good decision for Reading.
Yes.
For my very limited knowledge of Reading, but something needed to change, and they need a bit of a new manager bounce or boost. Like they need something different, something new, something fresh before the end of the season. I can still see QPR going down. I think
it's a good decision. I think it's 2 months too late. They pulled the trigger though.
Maybe so, but I think for the last 5 or 6 games, get someone new in, get them really up for it, and because I think if Paul Ince stayed, they probably would be going down. But I could see QPR. You know what? I could see any of QPR. I think Huddersfield will be fine. I think Rotherham. I think it is between QPR, Cardiff, and Reading for me. And I think if I had to say, I'd still say QPR. They had a good result of the weekend. I know, 2-2 against Baggies after being 2-0 down, but I could still see him going down.
Voice break.
Yeah, I know. So I was hoping you wouldn't pick up on it, but you did, and you didn't even keep it yourself. You mentioned it. For God's sake.
I copped it and just kept quiet, mate. If it helps.
Thanks, Jamie. That's what a good friend would do. You know, that's what a good friend would do. Poor from you, Tommy. Poor from you.
Sorry, I will try better in the future.
That's all right, mate. I don't mind. It's all in good heart. It's fine, mate.
But yeah, now we've skirted. Go on.
It's Noel Hunt is actually the brother of Stephen Hunt, who relegated us in 2011.
Wanker. Yeah, sorry. I don't know where that came from.
You should do better, Jamie.
He is a knob. He's a knob because weren't they? I'm not being funny. It weren't even an equalising goal that sent us down. They pulled it from 3-1 down to fucking 3-2 down, and the goal difference took us down from Stephen Hunt, the rat.
Still never recovered from that game. Both of those games, actually.
It was a great finish as well, if I remember. It went like edge of the box, whipped it top bins as well. Knob.
Never recovered from that day. I genuinely haven't. But yeah, let's talk about Sunderland.
Where are Sunderland in the league? Are they just mid-table mediocrity?
They're 10th.
They're still
pushing playoffs.
Yeah, they are. They're a couple points outside the playoffs. 4 points. Yeah, I think that they can still potentially make playoffs. Really, they've had a decent season considering they were in League One last season. They're just a very well-run club, I think, and particularly the fact that they are now. They've got some great players in that team as well. Really, you look at the like Jallow and Jack Clark and those type of players. You know, going forward, they're a threat, really, aren't they? They've got Ross Stewart as well, who I think is a bit of a danger, really, as well.
Yeah.
Amadiello.
Yeah,
and they've got good coaching staff, haven't they? They've got good staff there as well.
Yeah, they've got Mike Dodds there. Yeah, and what a man! I was just talking about that on that podcast. Actually,
come back soon, Mike.
If only he could. He ain't going to come back to this nowadays, is he? Club's a shit show.
No, I mean the pod. Come back, speak to us again, Mike.
Oh, come back to the pod. Yeah, it's a shit show.
Nah, Mike, this is a shit show as well.
Yeah.
I
didn't realise.
Listen, we're safe. This is what happens. We've got safety that we can't really whinge about much. We've got a potential takeover coming through. It's kind of just feels like a party kind of pod. Like it's just like there's actually some good news today, lads.
In terms of Sunderland, I can maybe see us picking up a draw. If I'm being 100% honest, I do think we'll lose. Just purely because I think Sunderland are really still pushing for that final playoff place. I think we're probably going to take our foot off the gas. Like not even like just subconscious. Like you think, if we've hit the 50 points now, I could see us maybe. I don't want us to, but I could see us taking our foot off the gas a little bit. I honestly can't see us winning it, to be honest. I think it will be maybe a 2-1, something along those lines. But I think because Sunderland is still pushing for that playoff place, they beat us earlier on in the season and looked quite good, to be fair. As you said, Tommy Ross, Stuart Amadiello, they got some good players in there. So if I had to say, I'd probably go for something like a 2-1 Sunderland.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough game, isn't it? So particularly away from home as well. We've not got much to play for. They've still got something to play for and pushing for the playoffs. I think they might try and, yeah, they'll definitely try and get some goals against us, really. I mean, they have got a better goal difference than Blackburn, who still currently sits sixth. But yeah, they win on the weekend. They get closer, don't they? And then, you know, they'll be still playing for something, like I said. But I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think we're going to win, Jamie?
Yeah, I think we want revenge for we were about to go into the playoffs and they shafted us just before Christmas. So I think the Blues players might be up for this one. I think 1-0. I think defensively we're so good at the minute. I don't see us conceding many. I think that trusty at left back move was an absolute genius stroke this season because he's been solid since he's moved there. He's solid at centre half anyway. He's solid at left back. Kevin Long and Mark Roberts are impressive. I thought first half against Stoke to go back. First half against Stoke, Roberts looked shaky on a yellow card. I don't know what happened at half time, but he came out and he was just a different animal.
Yeah, I mean, I agree the fact that we have been better defensively recently. I mean, we haven't
Bacuna shouldn't touch a football again in the midfield until the end of the season.
He needs to rest for a bit, doesn't he?
That was the worst game I think he's played this season. I don't know if he's still got niggling injuries from maybe the international break. Maybe he's run down from there a little bit, but he looked so off the boil on Monday.
No, he did. Yeah.
If you're Alfie Chang, you're Alfie Chang, you're looking at Eustace after about 6 minutes, going, bro, like.
We've always said Bacuna's so hot or cold, and I think actually prior to the international break, he was doing well in the midfield. I thought since the break, he hasn't been quite himself. He's probably been back to the 3-4 out of 10 performances, but that's
he had his back a moment, didn't he?
Just needs some consistency. That's all he needs because Bacuna is a very, very good footballer. I think he is.
Incredible.
Like, when Bacuna's on his day, what a midfielder to have. But he just needs to become a little bit more consistent. I'd rather him put in a 7 out of 10 each week than an 8 out of 10 one week and a 2 out of 10 the next. So just a bit of consistency to his game, and he'll be a real shining light for us, I think.
Yeah. He had his typical backer moment, though, didn't he? He was shite for 70 minutes and then burst through 4 players and won a free kick outside the box. And you're like, where's this been for the game then? Like, where's this been?
So true.
Like, it's like, for fuck's sake. Like,
he is so inconsistent, really, isn't he? He can be like he was for the first game of the season against Huddersfield. Oh no, sorry, second game of the season. He was insane that night. He was absolutely fucking unbelievable. That run that he did right through the whole of the Huddersfield back line. Had he had scored that, I'd have thought, fucking hell, we're going to get promoted this season if he keeps on playing like that. Yeah, get the party bus out. It's fucking happening, boys. But yeah, he was amazing. And then we continued in that good run of form, but yeah, I mean, he's followed the sort of typical pattern we've had this season, isn't it? Like, we've gone on a terrible run of form after the World Cup, and then we've managed to pick it up late against Swansea, had a good game then. And then obviously we go on a 4-game losing streak again. So he matches the team very well, to be fair to him. Like, he's never played badly in terms of the way that he doesn't look like he's not trying. I feel like that's again for all the players as well, but yeah, he just looks a bit rusty at the moment, so I reckon go back to putting Alfie Chang in the midfield on the weekend because I think it gives him better game time as well. That's going to be a tough test for him as well, that game, particularly if he plays.
Sunderland are very physical.
Yeah, it's a better team as well, considering the opposition we've been playing lately. So Stoke, Reading, Blackburn was probably the best chance, but there again, they've on bad form and the break didn't work with them well. But yeah, I think Sunderland is probably going to be a proper tough challenge for Alfie Chang, really. But we'll see how it fares, really.
I think it'll be interesting. Like, there's a lot of players out of contract after the next 5 games, and I'm looking forward here. I'm looking a few games forward. Sheffield United at home, last game of the season. I think it'll be interesting to see how that game lines up because he'll either play the players who are going out of contract to say their goodbye, or he's going to give us a view into next season a little bit. And I think it'll be interesting to see where your Jobs fit in, where your George Hall fits in, Alfie Chang, Jordan James. You never know. He might fucking start Jordan James for 90 minutes being the season end because I don't know what that man's done wrong, but there's a vendetta. Manny Longello might pop into the team, but I suppose this is the part now where we've secured safety. We need to look at the season beyond Maxine Collin, Harley Dean, potentially Troy might be going. There's a lot of players who are going to be out of contract. And I think this is going to be the time now where we start to think of the future a little bit now. George Brown, what's happening with him?
I would hope that they are thinking about those things already, particularly if the club is already looking at new owners. I hope that we're looking at players next season, which ones we're in our squad we're keeping and which ones we're moving on. I would like to think that we are moving along George Friend, not because I don't like him as a player, but I feel like it's probably the right time for him. And I think he probably would benefit better for a coaching role rather than being in the team.
I'd have him as a coach.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
In terms of like a defensive coach and stuff, because he knows his shit clearly when you hear him talk and stuff, like when he's doing Blues commentary. But do you know what I mean though? When he's doing the commentary and stuff on Blues, if you listen to him, you kind of go, yeah, he knows what he's on about. To be fair,
I mean, he got promoted under Karanka, didn't he? With Middlesbrough, he's a very good Championship defender. So I'd happily have him in a coaching role. I think you're probably right, Tommy. It's probably about his time. Not to say he's a bad defender. I think he's pretty decent, but yeah, I think him in the coaching role will be good. In terms of score predictions, what are you two saying? I'm saying 2-1 Sunderland personally.
1-0 Blues.
Well, I went 1-1, so we've gone very across the board there. I think we go 1-1 because I can see it being a bit like the Reading game, but with a bit more interest to it, really, rather than the sort of stalemate. Because I imagine Sunderland will be going for it, and the good thing with that really is the fact that we could counter-attack a fair bit. And considering the goals we've scored this season, a fair few of them have come from counter-attacks this season. I mean, that Burnley one always pops into my mind. Like, Burnley had an attack, we won the ball back, went up the other end, Ogun scores 1-1. Completely different game then. I think it might benefit us a little bit, because if they're trying to push for a goal and trying to win it late on and if it's still level at that point, knowing that they need those goals to go further up the table, then we can definitely counter-attack. I mean, the players we got as well, like Katra, Hall and Chang, and Hogan's a good one-on-one finisher this season, so it could be a late winner maybe or something like that. So it could go either way. I hope it's going to be a good game for once. No, it can't be any worse than that fucking Stoke game. Jesus Christ.
Well, you say about the Stoke game. I remember at one point looking up, because obviously in the first half Blues were attacking like my end, and I remember looking dead up the line and just seeing obviously Duke, and then looking behind Duke you've got Chong, Kadra, and you've got Hull, and I just remember thinking to myself, the amount of pace we've got in behind on a counter attack here. Like, I know Kedra was quiet, but I think he was kept quiet by 2 or 3 Stoke players just on him. But I think the games, like you said, against Sunderland, where teams are going to go for it, they've got a playoff potential, they're going to push on us. And what are we on, 12 or 13 clean sheets? I think Eustace probably in his head wants to hit the nice 15 mark. I think 15 clean sheets in a season is a bloody good going in the Championship.
I mean, I haven't thought of that really. I mean, like, I could maybe just scan over a few.
When was the last time we broke 10 clean sheets in a season?
I don't even know. I can't really think of that really. I mean, so we've got that one against Stoke. In the last in March we had 3. We didn't have any in February. Oh no, we had 1 in February because we had West Brom. So that's 6. Is that right? Yeah.
I think we're on 13. I think I saw a post the other day.
I think it's 12. It's definitely 12 or 13. We haven't conceded a home goal since, I think they said late Feb or early Feb or something.
We've got 13 clean sheets this season.
It's fairly impressive, actually, considering how we've been this season.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, I imagine, though, a lot of those clean sheets probably came in that good period we had in October and November time. We didn't shift as many goals at that point. We were doing all right, actually, at that point as well. We were pushing for the playoff spots at that point. Yeah, so fairly across the board predictions. I've gone with a draw, Zach's gone with a loss, and Jamie's gone with a win.
Zach's gone pessimism, I've gone hope, and you've gone fence boy.
I'm back to being fence boy now. You're always very optimistic, which I'm always quite surprised by, judging by the fact that you're always having a moan at somebody.
Yeah, because I just, I work a very stressful job, and this is my getaway from stresses. I chose to be a Birmingham City fan, so I kind of bring this on myself. I have to have hope in some sort of part of my life. Yeah.
Why would you
choose Birmingham City is to choose? Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's pretty much it. We've covered pretty much everything today. This has been the Blues Focus podcast with me, Tommy Castle, Jamie Lawler, and Zach Woods. Thank you guys for joining me once again. It's been a pleasure.
Anytime.
We will be back after. Well, let me get my game straight up. Had a bit of a roughy period with actual times trying to work out when the fuck we're playing. So we're playing on Saturday at 3:00. I imagine we'll be back after on Sunday. I reckon that's probably when we're going to be back for. But it might be different. So look out for Sunday. We'll be, of course, leaving it. We'll be updating everything on our Twitter, which you can find on the screen right now at Blues Focus. You can also listen to this on Spotify, on Google Podcasts, and Apple Podcasts, all through the Sports Social Network. Thank you guys for joining me, and keep well.